Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show, presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale and Josh Prophet. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
It's almost 70 out there.
It's sunny.
Sunny and 70. It's going to be today. And guess what? One more day without the teens.
All right. I think you're safe at this point.
I
Maybe.
I am. Well, you never know if this damn Kansas weather will happen or whatever either. But
that is factual.
That is factual. So, hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. That's the number down at the bottom of the screen. That comes to our front desk. Tell the girls you get passionate on the podcast. This is a question, comment, anything you want to talk about in the automobile world. Tires, brakes, batteries. We just come out of the buy three, get one for $1 deal. If you missed that, sorry. But anything you want to talk about in automobile, you want to talk about racing, I don't care. We can talk about it. You get a great price package about it. Over $205 just for calling in. Not the chat line, but calling in the show. And we don't hear from you today, right?
We are.
Okay. What's all in that package, Josh?
So it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're going to complete a multi-point inspection on the vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the big corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then a 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. Anyway, Josh, I meant to tell you to kick the Salt City Live over on this time, but that's okay. But today we're kicking off a new sponsor or partnership. I got to get the word right. Partnership with Stratica.
Okay.
In Hutch. That's the Underground Salt Museum. Josh, have you been down there?
I have. Yeah, I've been down there a couple of times. It's been quite a few years since I've been down there, but yeah.
I got to go down for the first time here a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Pretty cool.
It is.
I could spend hours down there.
Yeah.
Spend hours down there. Anyway, Nick took a picture of me with a neat little uniform.
Okay.
The Ricky Bobby uniforms down there, Josh.
Oh.
And what's the guys? The Pierre. What's his name again?
Yeah, this is your story. You tell me.
Nice try. It's down there together, Josh. And he took a picture of me with it, with my hard hat on. Yeah. So, hey, over at Stratica today is a partnership we kicked off with Salt City. We're partnering on a lot of things. Today is their Kids Day from 9 to 3. 11 o'clock starts off the Easter egg hunt. We've got 3 race cars over there. I got to thank Tanner Tile, Dustin Frenier, and Chris Pitts for taking their race cars over there today. If Team 3J wasn't racing today in Enid, we would have the Team 3J car over there too. But those guys, thank you for taking those race cars over and showing the partnership we're going to have with Stratica. Stratica is going to do a lot of things with us too to help when we have our 2-day events over there to give the racers some. No, that's not it, Josh.
Well, I know that ain't it, but I'm going to have to compare notes with Nick, see what that came from. Anyways.
Text Nick real quick and tell him to send that picture over.
Okay. Yep. I'll get him to send it over.
Take me hard forever to find it.
I understand.
But anyway, the Stratica on those 2-day events, they're going to be giving racers discounts to go down and spend some time when you in between the 2-day rents, they're looking for something for the kids, lunchtime, that kind of thing, and the afternoons to go do some things instead of just hanging out at the racetrack. So Stratica is going to do a lot of things to help us and stuff too. But I'm telling you, if you haven't been down in that Stratica, it's a cool deal. Me and Nick spent probably 20 minutes down there.
Well, and they have volts portions of it too. I don't know. Did you get to see any of that as far as No,
and I didn't realize there's a lot of stuff down there you can't go see.
Yeah.
They've got it all secured off and stuff like that too. So anyway, so if you're doing something over there in Hutch, and the Easter egg hunt starts at 11 and goes till 3 o'clock today from 9 to 3 over there at Stratica on just out there coming into Hutchinson off of the Yoder Road. So fun time to go there. I can't wait to go spend some more time down in that thing when I have time. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'd love to go down there. So anyway, morning, Tim Daniel. Morning, Darren McKim. And good morning, as always, Delbert Alt. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So anyway, Josh, we just finished up the buy 3, get 1 for $1 tire deal. And we kind of killed it with that compared to the other Ford stores in town and around. I shouldn't say not just in town, around.
had a lot of traffic with that, and hope everybody that needed that got to take advantage of that offer that they put out there. And
Yep.
it's it's definitely one of those things that it's a busy time for us, but also I understand the 2 week blitz on it, or why because they legitly are giving you the fourth tire for a heavily discounted price, or that only dollar, and that money's got to come from somewhere, right? And
Yep.
so
Well, and we'll
I
explain.
do
I'll
understand that.
explain where that money comes from if everybody wants to know. So basically, there's a advertising group called FDAF, which is Ford Dealer Advertising Fund. That's what we call Tier 2. There's Tier 1, which is Ford. Tier 2 is these FDAF groups that are scattered out throughout the country. Ours is based out of Kansas City, and ours is based out of for Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and a little bit of Illinois is our group area that handles that stuff. Anyway, Ford basically gives these dollars allocated to these groups to spend in our local markets and stuff. And there's a board that puts together, and basically there were some extra funds out there that Ford had given us to use, and that's what they decided to use it on, was spread it on this buy 3 get 1 for $1 tire deal. Also, Ford did kick in a little bit of that money too.
Yes. Yep.
So came from 2 different places where that money come from. So it's not like what some other manufacturers did the week before they raised up the prices of the tires, and there was proof of that out there, and I seen the proof of what they did. That's not what we did. If you go back and look at the tire prices you paid last week versus what they are this week, they're the same.
Yeah,
not been jacked up or anything else from that part too. So anyway, a great time for that. I hope everybody got needed tires, got it taken care of, because summertime is coming. It's we went from winter needing traction and extra rubber from that part. Now we're going into the rain season where you need to not hydroplane, and now we're getting into the heat where you got to get that heat dissipated out of that tire.
So we were when I was at this dealer group, that's one of the things we were talking about is this. Just talking about the sales in general, and was it too close to the previous sale, and when the best time of months of year it is to have it, and we'll go back and we talk about the regional weather and stuff like that, and for us going kind of into winter is a good time for tire sales, and people are thinking about it. But then talking to a dealer, like out in Phoenix and in the real hot climates, they're like, yeah, definitely, like around this time of the year when you're getting ready to go into summer is good for them. And so, yeah, it's just amazing how, again, maintaining that vehicle differently based on geographical location is an actual thing,
Anyway, morning, Jeff Daniel. How you doing, buddy? Anyway, we got a caller coming through here. We'll get him on the line here shortly.
Patch through.
And see what's on Jordan Whitehead's mind again this morning. This ought to be an interesting call as usual. So we'll see what's on Jordan's mind and what he's got going up his sleeve today.
See what he's got to say. Let's go to the phones and let's talk to Jordan. Jordan, you're on live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Perfect.
Okay, well, Phil said there, hey, call about anything, we'll talk about anything. So I got a story your listeners might want to hear. I got myself in another Jordan situation this weekend. Or this week rather. So I and this one's not my Bluetooth story. This is a little more safe for work. But
sometime you'll have to be able to tell that in the proper terminology, the Bluetooth story.
Yeah, I don't know what your show's rated, but I don't know if we can tell that story. Either way, well, let's just move on.
Okay, this week's story.
So, and it's kind of a car story. So we're eating lunch at that new Chinese buffet over there off right behind the Town East Mall. And our buddy calls Brian and says, hey, I'm trying to get this O2 sensor out. I got the socket, got everything I need. I just not strong enough. Well, Mario, the guy that works for me, he's part gorilla. If he's fighting a bear, you should jump in and help the bear. So, I was like, we'll finish it up eating. We'll go over there. He already had it jacked up and everything. He just needed Mario to, put the muscle on it and crack that O2 sensor loose. So we get there, and I said, and about that time it hits me as soon as we get there. I said, man, while Mario's under your car doing this, I said, I got to use your bathroom, Brian. I now. I got to use it now. He's
Oh,
like,
we need
"Sure,
home
go
field
ahead."
advantage, huh?
Yeah. So I go in there, and he lives in a duplex down there off South Washington. So I go in there, and I just say it was not a number one. And I come back out, and I'm like, Brian, both his kids are grown and out of the house. And I come out of the house and go back. They're just finishing up the O2 sensor. And I'm like, Brian, what? All your kids are grown. Like, do you got nieces or nephews or something? What's all that little kid stuff you had in the living room? And he goes, which duplex did you go in?
Oh no.
And I was like,
no.
I went in his neighbor's house. Yeah. I'm lucky I didn't get shot. And you know what? It's partially there. This is why you locked your door.
No. This is not their fault. This is not their fault.
Were they home?
I don't know. I think someone was home and in the backyard. Someone was home and in the backyard. Yes, technically someone was home.
He didn't stick around to find out.
No, we got out of there. I don't really know exactly how it all played out, but we finished just about that time. Mario was screwing in the new O2 sensor. We got our butts out of there quick, but
okay.
Yeah, so
important question. Did he tighten the new O2 sensor as tight as the old one was to take out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We just, like I said, we got out of there quick. I wanted out of there quick. I feel bad because someone got a surprise. And either way, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I should ask Brian exactly which duplex he lived in. I'd never been there before, but I mean, either way.
Yep.
It was a classic misunderstanding.
Oh, I don't think there's a misunderstanding.
No,
I think it's
this is your fault. In the court of law, this is your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you reckon that is? Is that breaking and entering? I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but you're lucky you didn't get shot, beat with a bat, something.
Scare somebody to death.
Yeah.
Dog get you.
Oh yeah,
That would have
big
been
old
funny
dog,
too. A dog
big
got
German
you.
Shepherd or something, or Doberman Pinscher.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of ways it could have gone very wrong. And, of course, Mario and Brian think it's the funniest thing ever. They're rolling on the ground. They're laughing. I'm like, no, we got to get out of here now.
I would have been too.
Yeah.
You're just lucky you didn't. I wasn't involved in that deal. I'd have had it on I'd have had it on Facebook. I'd have had it everywhere.
Right. That's why I debated whether you're going to call in to tell you this story, Phil, because I know how you operate. But I did figure it would make your Saturday better. So
I would have to just go and. I wished I could have been there because I'd have videoed you coming out of there. Did you run out or did you walk out?
I didn't know it was.
He didn't know until the end of the deal. Yeah.
They were still working on the car. They were just finishing up, and I was like, Brian, do you have nieces or nephews or something? What's all that little kid stuff in your house? He's like, no. Jamie and Jason are grown. They don't have any kids. What are you talking about? And then it kind of dawned on him. He's like, which duplex did you go in? And I pointed to the front door. He's like, dude, that's my neighbor. Yeah. I was like, are they nice? And he's like, yeah, but I don't know if they're that nice. Like,
I don't know how nice they are.
My question is going to be, did you clean up everything okay before you left?
Yeah, I mean, I did, but it was. We just left the Chinese buffet, man. Like, I guarantee you, if they got home within the next couple hours, they knew something was up. I can tell you that.
Oh, Jordan.
God, yeah.
So, and if by some chance they will listen to the Under the Hood show and they're out there listening, I apologize. It was an honest mistake.
No, I think you did it on purpose. That's
but
what that's going to be.
Not do it on purpose.
And you are right about this. I did say you want to talk about anything. I didn't care. But this is car related. We're going over to change an O2 sensor. And
We were changing an O2 sensor, buddy.
X and something else had to have happened.
What involvement did you have in the O2 sensor?
Zero.
I guess
Zero.
I guess you transported the guy that changed the O2 sensor.
I transported Mario over there. And I knew he was either gonna break it loose or break it off clean, but it would move. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, he's part gorilla. But no, when I came out, the new one was already screwed in. They were done. They were all buttoned up.
All right. Well, thanks for the entertainment today, as always, Jordan.
Yes,
we really appreciate the entertainment.
Very much so.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that you can entertain us every now and then.
All right. Well, you guys have a good Saturday. I'm glad you enjoyed my story.
Oh yeah, always. Have a great day, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, Delbert, I'm over on Facebook. It looks like it's working for me. Maybe it has a little glitch or something, but it's back up if anybody's having any issues on Facebook. Delbert said it was not responding, but I'm on right now. Delbert, it seems to be working just fine. Okay, Jeff Daniel. Josh, had a truck in for service here in Arkansas, 20,000 miles. They wanted to do some fuel injector service recommended. What's the difference in the service versus adding a can of BG fuel cleaner at each oil change?
Yep, great.
Next thing I got to ask, though, is do you know when they said they wanted to do a fuel injector service, what they were going to do?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
So there's a couple of different things out there, obviously. So from the perspective of let's specifically relate it to BG, I guess, in this situation here,
100%.
Because outside of if it's something outside of a BG product, first of all, I'm probably disinterested in having the service completed, just to make sure that if you're going to perform the service, that it's done with the proper chemical and everything like that. So essentially the 44K additive or the Motorcraft fuel additive that BG now has with that. So that's going to go into the fuel tank. You're going to fill up your fuel tank, and then it is going to clean essentially the injector side of this system. Now, I would wonder in this particular situation at this dealer, you're saying that it's a fuel injector service.
Okay, here he said it. It said it was a recon service, or Rico
service.
I bet recon. Yeah, it was like $289.
Yeah. So what I would say is, so there's, again, on the BG side of this, there's the 44K system, which goes into the fuel system and treats the injector sides of these vehicles. Then there's an induction service that they do that treats more like the top sides of your valves, that it goes through the intake portion of it. And so in this particular situation, I'm wondering if this is another additive that they're actually putting into the fuel rail system. And again, the 44K is what we would recommend in that particular situation. And that needs to really be in every oil change service. The induction service, again, depending upon driving and habits and stuff like that, but anywhere from the 15 to 25,000 mile mark is where that induction service is completed or performed. But again, from my perspective, if it's not BG, you're not doing the right service.
Yeah. So I'm going to go, Jeff, doing that fuel induction service. If you haven't put anything in there in that truck at 20,000, is it time to do an induction service?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Now, if you're using the 44K about, like Josh is recommending every oil change, so 5,000 miles, great. It started from day one with that. At 5,000 miles, start putting the 44K in the tank. And an MOA by far, for sure. It's probably not going to do much good. But again, the difference is, like Josh was talking about, that's going through the injectors and that sort of thing in your fuel tank. But the induction is the air coming through the top of the intake and all that. Because when you shut your truck off, there's always still unburned fuel laying in the intake and laying in the runners and all that kind of stuff. And that's engine's hot and it's boiling that fuel and those fumes are going back up into that intake. And that's where we build up a lot of carbon on the back of the throttle plate and that sort of stuff too. Now, what does our injection service cost?
So
Roughly.
the induction service is like $220
Okay.
is for that induction service.
So basically, Jeff, if you hadn't done anything, that's still not 100% with induction service because you still have something going through the injectors.
Correct.
The induction service is going through there through where the air goes through. So nothing's getting into the injector. So it's twofold deal kind of a situation. But again, on your truck, you've got direct injection and
So there's multi-point, there's multi-port injection. Well, I don't know what vehicle he has. I think
it's a 24 platinum hybrid.
So it's got both fuel
Yeah,
systems.
it's got both of them in it. Yes. So you got an injector in the cylinder, and you got an injector in the intake.
Correct.
And it's dependent on what that computer sees, which injector is going to throw the most fuel at, and that sort of thing to keep it most fuel efficient running down the highway. Because both ways is making an engine perform like it needs to perform. So,
which is even crazy to think about as a consumer. To say that I don't even think a lot of consumers even understand that there's a high pressure in fuel injector and then a kind of a lower pressure fuel injector in that vehicle either. But I don't know, the advancements in technologies that they put in these things sometimes is
again,
absolutely crazy that a consumer is just unaware of.
Yeah, and it's doing those two different type injectors to keep the truck at its most fuel efficient and clean burn as possibly it can. But it's still going to burn it's still going to develop carbon. It's still going to do it if you don't put any kind of maintenance into that truck whatsoever from that part. So if you're running, to me, every 5,000 miles, you're putting a 44K in MOA in that truck. You could probably go to 40,000 before you probably need an intake clean, give or take. It's going to depend. I'm just giving a rough guess.
Yeah.
It's not 100%. That's not gospel on the 40,000. But an easy way to know if you're going to need it is we can take the air implantum off and get the throttle plate wide open and look behind that throttle plate and see how much
see what it looks like in there,
and then determine if that's what it's going to need.
So much. Again, going back to the multi-point inspection in this thing, is so much relies on when you start that vehicle up or that engine up. Are you running it for long long periods of time? Is it shorter stints?
Right.
You get it up to operating temperature and you shut it off versus driving 3 or 4 hours with it. In those intervals are different based on that, because like you said, you're getting that unburned fuel every time you're shutting it off, and then that turns into a vapor and carbons up the inside of the engine and stuff like that. And so I mean, the best thing is to just look at it and see what recommendations would be made from that.
And so what you're hearing is running her harder and hotter. Got it. And it is true. The longer it runs before you shut it off each time, the better it is on an engine for that part. It's just like I've always said, if I was buying a vehicle that had 80,000 miles on it, but that person drove that car before an hour at a time every day before he shut it off versus a car that's got 40,000 miles on, I'm going to take the 80,000 mile car because that 40,000 is going to be short trips in town, idling a lot, all that kind of stuff. Maybe not getting it up to operating temperature before it shuts off. And that's more wear on that engine than that engine just sitting out there cruising at, say, 75 mile an hour.
Yeah. Running down the highway. Well, and even, I mean, so now you talk about on the engine side of it, now you talk about the transmission side of it. Okay. Well, in town, something that's operating in town, I mean, every time that transmission shifts, it's building heat, right? So something running around in town that's going through the gears more often versus something that's cruising down the highway,
locked in gear,
60 that's locked in gear, and the wear on those fluids are completely different.
Yep.
And what it takes to maintain them is completely different for sure.
100%. So anyway, I hope we answered your question there, Jeff. Great question and great comments coming through there on that part too. And Delbert, are we headed to Enid after the show? Yeah, Team 3J is off to Enid. It's our first race of the year. Next thing I need to thank 81 Speedway and JR Sartain and his crew out there. We got our motor back on Wednesday morning. And Wednesday night, we were at 81 Speedway testing. And so I got to thank JR Sartain and the crew out there at 81 Speedway thanks for letting us come out and test that car and get it ready to go. So yes, we're headed to Enid. We were supposed to be at Humboldt last night. which they canceled that show early this week, and we're supposed to be at 81 Speedway tonight, and they canceled that show early too. But now I think 81 Speedway is back on, but the revival late model series is not out there tonight. But I do believe 81 Speedway is racing. So if you need something to do and you're around here in Wichita tonight, and you need to go out and check out the race cars and stuff out at 81 Speedway, or if you want to make a quick jaunt down the Enid, that's where Team 3J will be with the late model first test out of the year with a new car and stuff. So we'll make it happen. So again, JR and his whole crew out there, Jake came out there, his track guy, and had a decent track for us and stuff to practice on, which was good. So I can't thank them enough. It was a hard day Wednesday for getting that motor slapped in there and getting that car loaded up, getting out there and running it pretty good. So we're excited to head off to Enid here this afternoon and see what happens tonight down at the Sooner Series at Enid Speedway.
Got to be a sigh of relief, though.
Oh, God. Waiting on that motor as long as we waited and stuff, too. But I guess my dad used to always tell me good things come to people who wait. So.
Sitting on pins and needles and, just ready to go, I know, for sure.
So anyway, car's loaded up in the toter. It's also kind of the first voyage in the toter.
Yeah.
Of course, we had to get one out to 81 Speedway. It's kind of the first one, but this is going to be the first real road trip on the toter. And just excited to get to Enid tonight and have some fun with that hot rod finally for the first time. So again, JR Sartain, thank you very much for the hospitality and the welcomeness out there at 81 Speedway, and can't wait to come back to race at 81 Speedway here around our hometown and stuff too. So hopefully Revival will get that race rescheduled. They're working on that from that part too. But again, need something to do tonight. 81 Speedway is a place to go to get see the race cars, and I'm sure the first race of the year out there for them guys, they'll have a great show and stuff too. While you're talking about that, I'm going to go see what's racing out at 81 Speedway.
Oh, over at 81. Very good. So one of the things that we were talking about before the show is just different climates and different maintenance needs in regards to those climates and tires. You got this schedule pulled up?
81 Speedway will have USRA modifieds, B mods, super stocks, mini stocks, and stock cars. Great field of cars there too, and that stock car class, I tell you, puts on a hell of a race out there. They did it great here. They had great races at Salt City, and they had great races at 81 Speedway. So that's a great class to watch, and a lot of fun there too. But of course, the modifieds are great too, also. And my wife asked me the other day, we were watching a few modifieds last week on TV and supporting our local racers that were racing at the King of America. And of course, Tanner Mullins pulled off the win out there, which is huge for him. She said, "Do you think Jake's missing that modified?" I said, right now, at this minute, yes. But as soon as he buckles in that late model, that'll be all gone and everything else too. But it is kind of sad not to have the modified after. But again, we're concentrating hard on that late model and having a lot of fun with that too. So anyway, need something to do, jump out to 81 Speedway and have some fun with those race cars tonight. Anyway, back to the maintenance side.
I guess where I was going with this is, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but on purchasing vehicles, do you know what the stat is on new purchases to used purchases? So like a national average.
Boy, that's a good question. I don't have it on top of my head.
I don't want to put you on the spot here, but so to the consumers out there that listen, like, would you purchase a new vehicle or would you purchase a used vehicle? And then why? Why would you purchase it one way or the other? And I think you and I could sit here and almost not necessarily have a debate, but have a reason. If you'd say, okay, new, then I could come back and say, well, okay, why not used because of this? Or vice versa. If I said used, you could come back and say, okay, well, why not new and because of this or whatever? And so what I was wondering is, you perform maintenance differently based on geographical locations and weather and, conditions that you're operating those vehicles in. Like does that stat change new or used based on? So what I mean by that, like I think of a northern state and all the salt and stuff that they have up there, and are people more prone to go new just because of the deterioration of those vehicles?
And that's some great stats. It takes some studying to do. I think there's probably a study done on it too to prove that point from that. But we've seen cars over the years, Josh, we've traded for or come through here that are just completely rusted out, and they're only 4 or 5 year old cars.
Well, and I think, you think of the continental United States, but even like as you further up, you get into like Canada and stuff like that, and what that looks like in those areas too.
Yeah.
But I would assume so. And then, so to go back to my question of like, okay, if you're purchasing something, is it new or is it used? And why are you doing it that way? And then from the other side, you think of used, all the different markets that you can go and purchase something used in.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. And I'm gonna go. Let's. I'm rolling my head through everything that I've bought over the years, and here just lately everything that I've bought too. Um, let's go to cars. I'm definitely a new buyer. I'm a new buyer, and I'm doing exactly what Tim Daniel has said. I got a warranty.
Yeah.
Okay, now granted, you can buy some good warranties out there to protect you on your used cars and your new cars for if you're going to drive them longer than out of the warranty period from that part too to protect you. I get that, but I want the new car. I just
What?
do. I've always kind of been that way. I'm going back through my head. I mean, my last used car. And I'm going to talk about my hot rods. I'm going to talk about the physical cars that I drove. My last used car that I bought was my '77 Chevrolet pickup that I bought in 1983, I think, somewhere in there. But that was the last used car that I bought. From there, I
Yeah.
bought everything new. And then when I went to my first lease class in 1985, then I didn't buy another new car. I leased everything. I leased every car, brand new coming out of the gate. So I had a new car every 3 years or 2 years or whatever it might be from that part. I always had factory warranty. I was always covered. All I had to do is maintain it. Uh, that's my thing. Now I get other people have different. Um,
Well, I mean, there's so many different categories to help make that determination or decision, right? Is it budget? Is it payment? Is it, what the use of what you're going to be using that car for? But from my perspective, and I'm obviously going to lean more towards new too.
Yep.
But the main reason for me in doing that is not knowing how that other owner
treated
it,
did it, maintained it.
and took care of that vehicle and what that was like. Now, granted, and we see with the amount of used vehicles that we have run through here and the certification process that we put behind it, like there's
Well,
quality value in that, right? But
okay, so it's just like your used cars,
Mhm.
and even though we do, and I was talking to my tool, the company, the tool I use to bid cars and price cars and stuff. I'm on a pilot program with them, testing their newest and latest, greatest of their tool enhancement they put on it, which is I've been begging for this enhancement forever, and I finally got it. And I was the first dealer in the country to be on this, and I think probably 95% of the dealers in the country are on. That's how many dealers are on this tool.
The
It's called
program.
Viato.
Mhm.
And they put me on. I was the very first dealer in it. So I've been running it for about 3 weeks. And they called me yesterday and just going back through different stuff to bid these cars and things too, And that's one thing we were trying to look at is how to get maintenance included into the value of that car. But again, not everybody's reporting the same maintenance. Not everybody reporting that. And, it gets a lot of gray area and things happening to that part. But, maintenance, even though we can sit there and look at that car, we inspect the car, go through the things on a used car. I'm going to go back to that. I think it was an Explorer, 120 some thousand miles on. I think I remember went just a couple weeks and we lost a turbo.
Yep.
Of course, we're going to take care of that and help the customer and everything else the best possible way and everything else too. But that's just that's the
gamble, I guess.
The gamble you'd rely on that used car. So did somebody doctor up that car enough to make that turbo or do something or whatever? Or is it just the luck of the draw? We just got caught in that trick bag right then and there. But that's the risk and the gamble, in my opinion, you have on a used car.
Well, and I mean, in all reality, you run this. I don't want to say the same risk because the odds I think are less, but even on a brand new vehicle, you kind of, it's man-made piece of equipment, right? Like it can break just as well as something that, has several thousand miles on it. But the difference is you have the warranty that stand behind it, to help to protect you in those particular situations.
Okay.
I've seen something brand new off of a transport come in and have have an issue of one way or the other. Now, what I will say is, for the most part, these vehicles are extremely reliable, and in those particular situations, like it was destined to break, and that's what the purpose of the warranty was. And you get it fixed up and go along, and the vehicle typically goes many, many more miles, and you don't have any issues to speak of. eh, every component in my mind has a time and mileage interval when it's going to be over fatigued and be done with. Now, maintenance is crucial in the sense that it extends whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And so, yeah, when I think new used, how that vehicle was maintained previous to me is always something that's on my mind. As to what that looks like for sure.
Okay, so Greg Murray, and where does the certified tiers fit into that new used debate? That's exactly correct. And And Greg, that's why here at Mel Hambelton Ford, we have our Ford-backed certified pre-owned program. And basically, there's a gold certification package, which is a Ford only. And that's basically up to 8 years and 80,000 miles. And now we have a blue certification where we can certify any maker model. And then if the Ford is over the 880, we can insure it up to 10 years, 150,000 miles. So every used car that we possibly fits in that category gets that certification applied to it. And I do that just for peace of mind, just like this Explorer that just happened with the turbo that went out. As things happen on that used car that you just can't control, even though we do the best inspection and spend a lot of money on our used cars. And that's when I told the MP Auto person yesterday, I said, I promise you that no one's, I'm in the top 5% of how much we spend on used cars to maintain them correctly. And that's one thing Lisa and Hamilton and I decided 18 years ago that we were going to do. We were going to maintain these used cars and sell a quality product. And that's when this certified pre-owned program came out, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And I immediately jumped on board with that, got everybody behind it. We've been certifying every used car that you possibly can. You look on our website and see where it's got the gold or the blue. And so it's just another layer of protection, but it's still not out there forever. It doesn't from that part.
Well, and also it doesn't cover anything, or doesn't cover. It's not an all-encompassing thing, right? Like, there's certain criteria that that it does or does not cover. Now, obviously, it's it, as far as what's out there in the market, like, it is class leading. I would say that for sure. But again, it's not a bumper to bumper type situation. Like if you were to purchase something new.
Right. So let's keep going here on questions. Like Tim Daniel says again, no tires, no brakes, no service costs, and no problems. That's most likely what you're going to run into if you do have a problem. If you're buying every 3 years and before 36, and everybody asks me when's the right time to trade. Okay, buy a new car. When's the right time to trade? The best time to trade it when it's worth the most money, and that's what your car is worth the most money today because it's depreciating asset. Every day it's depreciating down. So it's worth the most money before that factory warranty runs out. And why is that? That's because the next buyer sees that value in that they've got some peace of mind of that vehicle too from that part. So let's say you don't trade it for the next 336. And we've done all kinds of tests with our fleet companies of, when they trade and everything from 80,000 miles to 120, even with the 150. And Viega, who's one of our biggest fleet accounts we have out there, did that test on their cars. They're back at 80,000 miles. They're trading at 80,000. And what I tell everybody there too on that 80,000 is it's again, 98% of everybody is more worried about a payment than they're worried about what they're spending.
Yeah.
And when you take that vehicle and it gets over 100,000 miles on it, the banks are still a little worried about that. And the interest rates are higher when that car gets over 100,000 miles on it. And a payment is almost as close that I can sell you a new car as I can sell you that used car. So that's where the values have to come into play of knowing when to trade, when not to trade, and what to do from that part. Now, other people, you still got to, they've got there in their mind, they're going to drive it till the wheels fall off of it. And I got several of my customers, that's just how they do. I've got a guy that's got an Expedition that I begged him to trade it, but he keeps spending money on it. But I understand what he's doing. He says, I got brand new grandkids that we're hauling everywhere, and they're just telling the hell out of my new car. I get it. It rolled in here this week. And last Saturday, matter of fact, she called me, said she had a little issue. And I went and picked it up, and it was running out of coolant. And she just turned over 200,000. But I don't know what I have to go back and look at how much he spent from that 100 to that extra 100,000 miles on that. I mean, he spent some money to keep it going. But there. Again, I get what he's doing. Okay. Everybody's situation is different. I'm here to advise you. And just like our sales staff, just like same as doing a maintenance schedule, we're here to advise you and you do what you think's best for yourself.
And I would even add that into the, and I had this conversation earlier this week as well, but I mean, it's no different than, okay, now you get into, you've got this Expedition or a car that's, 80,000 miles or 100,000 miles. And okay, now we have a mechanical issue. Let's say, you've got a engine issue or a transmission issue or something like that, and you're around that 100,000 mile mark. Like, that repair looks different for every customer.
Yep.
And it's being able to discuss that and get feedback from the customer. Okay, what's your intents with this vehicle? How long are you planning on keeping it? How much are you driving it? Is it worth putting the money into it and doing a repair? Is it worth putting a little more money into it and doing a complete component replacement that's going to offer a much greater warranty and cover all those components? Or, is it time to look at trading this vehicle in this condition and stuff like that. And that's where, I've talked with our staff a lot in regards to, we've got to give the customer options, but then also not just give them options, help them explain the options and go over them to know what the right thing is. Because you have an issue in a transmission, and you go in and you replace 4 or 5 components in that transmission. Well, there's hundreds,
other parts,
hundreds of
still
other
more.
parts in there that are the exact same time and mileage on it. And so it's like, okay, well, what's the best preventative thing to do for that customer in that situation? Now, if they're going to keep the vehicle 6 more months and they're out of it and they're done and down the road, okay, that's one thing. But if the goal is to be this guy that's going to drive it, 200,000 miles, then we need to look at a different repair process that works best for him. And so,
well, here's Jeff Daniel. Warranty is critical. Great. Just had to have my wife's 21 Highlander transmission replaced, and luckily in warranty by 28 days.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Would have been a 12 grand repair.
Yep.
Parts and labor too expensive anymore on newer cars with all the computers and parts and labor that are not fixable and have to be fully replaced. And get it and see. And that is a Highlander. That is a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
They have problems too.
Yep.
Mercedes have problems. Everybody's will have a maintenance problem, or something breaks or something happens. It's just a luck of the draw there. My dad used to say it best. It's a man-made piece of equipment. It's going to break at some point in time. And I tell you, when you buy a car from me, I promise it's going to break some point in time in your life cycle of that car. Just don't know when, but it's going to break. But you need to have coverage, because I promise you, how many people can whip out 12 grand out of their pocket right now and pay for that transmission? That's my biggest thing. And I think, Jeff, you're 28 days from being out on warranty. It sounds to me like you need to get out of that so-called Toyota and get into a real Expedition instead of a Highlander. It's kind of a situation, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that, John, but the Toyota Highlander. But again, he got lucky.
Yeah.
Got lucky.
Very much so.
Being under warranty and stuff too. But so anyway, everybody's situation is different. We're here to advise you, help you, guide you, and not twist your arms, not give you any false information or whatever.
And then I think too, one of the things that we talked about, okay, from a consumer standpoint, is new or used, but also I think there's a portion of that, and you can speak to this if you want, but there's dependent upon market. Like, I think the market may determine one way to go or the other, and when I mean my market, I mean, okay, interest rates, where are they at? But then like incentives or rebates that a manufacturer has, or things like that. There's a lot of different variables, I think, that go into trying to make that decision. Would you agree?
100%. And I'm so glad COVID is over. It's looks like that's gone. During COVID, you couldn't buy a new car.
Mm-hmm.
It was just none hard. If you got one, you're paying overpriced for it, because people were, for that part, you had to buy used. Now we're in the situation where it's back to buying new. We're short on used cars. I mean, we usually have 300 to 400 out here. We have 170, I think, right now, of used cars on the ground, because I knew this would happen. We had COVID with no new, and we had plenty used, and now it's flipped. But we've lost that whole trade cycle in there of used cars. It's going to take a whole nother 2 years, in my opinion, probably a year and a half now, because I've said it for a little bit, of building back that trade cycle to get those people that bought new cars, 2 or 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, to get into that trade cycle again, so we can build this used car inventory back up. And people say, well, go to the auction, buy cars and all that kind of stuff. Well, if a used car dealer to me today is selling a used car and getting rid of
sending it to auction,
there's a reason it's going there, and I don't want it. And I've played with the numbers. I've looked at everything. And now there's some sites you can go out and buy peace of mind and get a guaranteed value, guaranteed that if it gets to you and you don't need it or want it or whatever, you can send it back, that kind of thing too. But again, I've run the numbers, what it takes to buy that car, ship it here, then put it through our recon process. I'm going to own it more than I really feel comfortable selling it to you for, because it's the money's gone.
The value's not there.
Value's not there from that part. So we're just doing the best we can to get through this process. And, we've got all those Rangers out there. If anybody wants to know what's going on with the Rangers, if you look at our site and you see 60 to 70 Rangers on it, and we're going through our third cycle now. Viega is going through a 200 Ranger rebuy.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they bought 22 Rangers. Lariats, they're all equipped exactly the same. They got the hard tonneau shell on it and a slide out tool tray in the back, but they're all identical except color and color of interior from that part. But miles anywhere from 30 to all the way to 100. And the reason why some of them get over the 80,000 mile mark. And I'm telling you, when you see the values of those, how much difference there is, it's crazy. Why did that happen? Because we had to wait on Ford to build the next set of Rangers to get that back in there. So some of them salespeople, basically these are salespeople from Viega all over the country.
Mhm.
And they've just had to drive them to keep going until we got the new Rangers here and stuff too from that part. So that's another thing to look at is we just flooded the Ranger market bad with that, trying to do that because we've never had that kind of Rangers. You know, if we used Rangers, if we had 3, 4, 5 of them maybe at a time on a lot, now we've got 60 to 70 of them. And then Curtis just came to me this week, and I'm starting to bid the next phase. So we're going to have another 30 of them going here between now and the end of the month from that part too. But again, the way those Rangers are priced and where they're at in value and stuff like that, it's a huge value. So now that's another thing to look at. Now, you really got to go concentrate. Take a 30,000 mile used 22 Ranger, which you can buy it for, versus which you can buy a brand new Ranger equipped the same. It's about half the money.
Really?
Half the money. So now then, can you buy a warranty to protect you? Yeah, you sure can. Have those trucks been maintained? Yes, Viega does have a because it had a maintenance plan on every one of them
When it
from
left,
Ford
yep.
when it left, when we sold it to them. So there is some advantages there too. Of looking at that aspect of it too, is what can you buy that used Ranger for versus when you buy a new one. Now, granted, there's some new enhancements and new things on a new Ranger versus the old Ranger. But I can tell you right now, my opinion, if I could buy the 22 versus a 26, I'm still buying the 26. I want the new technology. I want the big, the nicer stuff,
the screen,
the updates and things they've done, the bigger screen and that sort of thing too. But again, some other people might look at that and say, no, I only want to spend this. And it's over the years of selling cars to people. I got friends, and acquaintances and things like that. And they've just said, I'm only going to spend, I don't care. This is all I want to spend on a car. I'm going to spend my money somewhere else on other things. Even though I got plenty of money to do what I want to do, this is all I spend on a car. I got to say, great. Let me go get you. Let me help you in your budget with that, and put you in that budget.
We'll get you the best possible solution for what you're trying to achieve, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, Josh, it's running out of time. Great conversations, great things going on. And how'd that conversation get started? Who started that conversation?
Yeah, so I was talking about just.
Did you start that conversation?
I did. So I was talking about geographically in different markets. Is it better to buy new or used, or based on weather and stuff like that? Because I don't know. We've seen it time and time again about stuff and rust belts and what just blow you away on how torn up the underside of a vehicle can be with rust and things like that. Now, obviously, with aluminum and stuff like that, that's becoming less and less of a thing for sure. But
I know still got steel frames under there and all the steel and stuff under these cars and stuff too. But you're right, the aluminum has slowed that down a lot. And I will tell you, here's my opinion too. The aluminum, I love it. I think it's the right thing to do. But I'm still surprised that we haven't moved more model lines into that aluminum.
Would agree with that.
Like when the Expedition came out and when the Explorer came out.
What I would wonder, and again, you don't know, but about with like these two aluminum flyers, like, okay, is the amount of product that's available to do that? What's hindering the the transfer of more and more stuff to that? So
could be.
And then I know Ford is there a market you think from Ford that the F-150 is not their number one selling vehicle? Midwest, obviously, trucks everywhere.
I didn't think about that.
I just wonder if there's a market out there somewhere.
Well, last week we had Calvin on the phone. I was surprised coming out of California that he still said that the F-150 was still their number one.
And he's also kind of central California too. So I don't know, I would assume there's got to be some markets out there that the F-150s maybe. That's something else is their kind of bread and butter out there. So.
Yep. Tim Down brings up another thing. Flood cars get moved around all over the country. That's the other thing why we run auto check, and you can pull the auto check on every one of our used cars on our website to see where the cars come from, that sort of thing. And I mean, when we bid a car, that's the very first thing we pull up is the auto check to see what the history of the car is and see what kind of any accidents, that sort of thing too.
Well, I'll go. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'll go one step further on that. Is reacquired vehicles is another thing that I've seen. Dealers will go out and actually seek those out at auctions, and what that means is that vehicle was bought back from the manufacturer, from the person that purchased it originally, before a specific reason. So there was something that they could not fix about it, or
too many repairs,
too many days in service, something like that. And so the manufacturer then buys that vehicle back from that consumer
and supposedly fixes it.
Yeah.
is it fixed?
Potentially takes it to a required vehicle repair facility. They repair it, and then it ends up in auction. And so, as a consumer, for me, no, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you.
I don't want that car either. We watched that close. I mean, the other one's getting a little bit more crucial too. Is we got a lot of cars coming out of Canada, and you got to watch those Canada titles and stuff coming through. I mean, there's so many things today. It's kind of like everybody will call me, "Hey, what's my car worth?" Well, I hate to tell you, years ago, I had this little book about this big and about that thick that I carried in my back pocket, and I could go through that, look at that thing. Okay, that's what we got here. The car's worth that. Today, you can't do it. I need a VIN number. I need miles. I need pictures, and it to put a value on a car today. With all the different packages, all the different options, all the different trim levels. I mean, let's take an F-150, an XLT. There's 3 trim levels of that XLT: a 300, 301, 30. There's 4 of them: 300, 301, 302, 303. All of them are all the way up to different packages, different values, different things, and then all the options that go in between there. Whether it's got a trailer tow package, whether it's got FX4 package, whether it's got a sunroof. I mean, there's so many options. You just can't do that anymore. So to bid a car today, that's the first thing I do is get it put in my system, pull a window sticker to see my options. Next thing is I pull the auto check to make sure what's happened there, and then start bidding and start looking at all the options the car's got on it, putting those values into that thing. And then I use what we call an R book. I use Black Book. I use JD Power. I use KBB. I use the auction called MMR, and try to put all those numbers together. And you got to dissect that.
Then you're also taking that same vehicle, equipped that same way, and seeing what is out there,
seeing what's out there priced in the market,
comparing to.
Yeah, I can see what's on in the market right now. I can see how long they've been in the market,
the desirability of that vehicle,
and I can see how many in the last 45 days have sold. So you got what they call a day supply, and then you got a market day supply. There's just so many numbers today to put a number on a used car today. If someone whips you out a number real fast of what your car's worth, I trust you, it's not even close.
Yep.
Not even close. So anyway, we jammed it up, and we never. Just so everybody knows, we don't plan what we're going to talk about. We plan it at 8:59.
Yeah, there you go.
We go live on what happens on the show. It's always fun to get the show started, have fun with it. Look forward to doing this every Saturday and stuff too. But everybody, thanks for tuning in. Happy Easter to everybody. Everybody, get out to 81 Speedway again. Thank those guys out there at 81 Speedway for letting Team 3J come out and test the late model. If you want to see it for just about a half of a lap or whatever. We put a little video out there thanking the guys at 81 Speedway. So jump out and see the USA Modifieds, B-Mod, stock cars, mini stocks, and super stocks tonight at 81 Speedway. Or if you want to see Team 3J, we'll be headed out to Enid Speedway here this afternoon and go have some fun with that car too. So everybody have a great Easter. Stay safe, stay fun, and stay tuned. We'll be going live Salt City 5:30 next Wednesday with some great updates what happened there at Salt City Racing also. And we'll be back next Saturday at 9 o'clock to see what we're going to talk about again. Everybody have a great Easter, and we'll talk to you soon.